It's time for the Stage 2 finals. San Francisco Shock taking on the Vancouver Titans.
We've all been waiting for this moment.
They must be so fired up to come in and get revenge on the Titans.
This is a marquee matchup for sure.
That's gonna be a massive shatter!
Oh, Choi have been knocked off the edge. Oh,
And Violence is gonna land a headshot.
that's gonna be it. And the Shock have done it. They are your Stage 2 champions. You gotta look ahead and wonder what's gonna happen in Stage 3 at this point. Really gonna be there, Jonak. Oh man, right up in the face. Jinmu with 3 in a row right now, making 4. And welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. That's right, it's Stage 3. We have returned. It's been a long break, a little bit too long, in my opinion. I kind of got a little bit of casting withdrawal, but we're back. We're here again, Do in Monte Cristo at the Blizzard Arena. Can't wait to get started. What do you think, man?
I think stage 3 means more 3-3. It's appropriate, right, Noah?
It's a 3-3-3. Stage 3, 3 tanks, 3 supports.
But a
There
lot
you
of
go.
changes coming in. Obviously, the new balance patch. We have had some balances to Reaper in
A little bit.
particular, but not a whole lot has shifted.
Yeah.
Except for the new map, and that's going to be huge in this stage. We will be playing on Havana.
Yeah, the new map is going to be awesome. I really love it, actually. Good escort map. We've also got the professional viewer as well, so you can watch replays of the game a little bit later after the games happen. That's going to like completely change how I do my job,
Yes.
actually, in terms of preparing for matches. So cool. Let's take a look, though, at the season standings so far. Obviously, the Vancouver Titans still #1, despite dropping that Stage 2 finals to the San Francisco Shock. Titans undefeated in the regular season. Shock still with those 3 losses, but we'll see if they can add another win to that one today.
Yeah, and look at the Atlanta Reign in our first matchup, too, sitting there at 7-7, so still in the top 12, which is what you need to have that shot at the overall season playoff.
That's right, but for now, man, we got to talk about the San Francisco Shock. These guys were so good in Stage 2. They had the golden stage. They did not drop a single map until the playoffs. It's amazing, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and now they're running in on a 10-match win streak if we include the Stage 2 playoffs.
Sure.
How long can they go will be the question.
Well,
because
I mean,
if we
look at this.
look at this schedule, these are all very winnable games. Shock had a very easy schedule in Stage 2, and I would say again, they've got a real shot at going undefeated in terms of matches. And how long can they keep up this regular stage map win streak as well?
Yeah.
Because remember, when we talk about the golden stage, that means they won every map in the regular season of Stage 2. Very impressive. So across 7 matches, they didn't drop a map. And now we're looking to continue that streak.
Yep, that's right. They'll have to do it, though, against the Atlanta Reign. And the Atlanta Reign didn't have a whole lot going for them in Stage 2, but one thing that really went well is games against NYXL, one of our other best teams in the league. They actually went 2-0 against them in that stage, which is really, really interesting because the only other team they beat was Washington. So, if anything, they were able to take down a very strong team in Stage 2. Here's another one. People are calling them the Giant Slayers. I don't know if I'm convinced yet, but they've got a little bit of history starting there.
Also, you can't ignore the fact that Atlanta Reign made some roster moves, which did affect them at the start of
That's
Stage
true.
2, and most of
Good
their
point.
losses were coming at the beginning. Obviously, some dodgy losses there, like to the LA Valiant.
Yeah.
But as they got better integrated with Baby Bay, once we saw all of their players that started the season return to that starting lineup, that's when the Atlanta Reign started to get those wins against the NYXL.
Right.
Are they a big underdog against the Shock? Yes, absolutely they are. But if they can get over this week, because remember, they play the Titans and the Shock this week.
It's a crazy week for Reign.
They might go
Yeah.
down 0-2, but they can still go 4-3, 5-2, I think, in the rest of the stage.
Absolutely. And so, it's time to announce our first team in this series coming off a golden stage. Let's hear it for the San Francisco Shock. And you just can't reiterate enough how good this team is. I mean, every single member on this roster just performing out of their minds in stage number 2. It's a lot to look up to. I mean, we said at the end of the stage that we didn't know if we'd ever see another golden stage, but they've got a chance to do it. Pretty cool jerseys today, too, as well.
Yeah, they've got the new alternate jerseys on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that camouflage is useful, but it certainly is interesting.
The urban camouflage to blend into the building.
With the orange, you know.
It's the traffic cones in the gray buildings
Oh,
in San
that's right. It's the
Francisco.
traffic cone.
Urban camouflage.
That's what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't see them, right. So, their opponents, 7-7 overall in the standings, looking for another big upset win today. Let's hear it for the Atlanta Reign. Representing their home state of Georgia today, the peach on the jersey.
I'm surprised on the front, Noah.
Yeah, you know, they come from a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
Oh, okay, good. I was wondering how they got there.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
But I like the colors for the Atlanta Reign. Fun that we're starting stage 3 with a lot of these alternate jersey designs.
Yeah. Where's our alternate jerseys? Why don't we have alternate wardrobes today?
I don't know. You could be the cowboy, the fake cowboy today. Noah.
All right, I'll work on that. We got like 2 minutes during a commercial break. I'll see what I can do. But Atlanta Reign, another thing we have to mention today is this is a Babybay's moment to play against his former team. He gets to kind of take to the field against San Francisco Shock, and that's got to add a little bit of an element of fun to it.
Absolutely.
For
And,
us.
and well, I imagine for him too. He's obviously very close with all of those San Francisco Shock players and staff. And you know, this is his chance to prove himself against the player that has been, I think, definitively the best Zarya player in the league, which was Sinatra.
Yeah.
And the reason why we didn't see Babybay starting was because Sinatra is just so good.
Right. And speaking of so good, there is Sinatra on your screen right now, and also Super, the leader of this team right now, the main tank, playing splendidly with his off-tank Sinatra. Well, Sinatra, normally a DPS player, but in this meta, a fantastic Zarya. And it kind of, like, what do you call this guy now, man? I mean, is he really even a DPS player anymore,
Yes,
or is he
he is.
just a great flex player in general?
He is obviously a great flex player in general. Does have to be said that he was known for his Zarya play before he actually made his debut in the Overwatch League. So he sort of got lucky into a meta that really does fit right into his wheelhouse. But these are players that have developed enormously. Most impressively, Sinatra is first in hero damage per 10 minutes.
That's right, and your map set brought to you by Toyota. Let's see where these guys are going to play today. Going to start things out on Ilios, then going to Paris for our Assault map. Hollywood will be Hybrid, and finally Escort will be Gibraltar. And if we need it, and I'd love to need it, that 5th and final tiebreaker control map. We'll see if we get there.
Yeah, and just so a lot of people know, because I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see Havana, that will be played in our second match of the day in Florida versus Seoul. So you have to wait a little bit to see that new map at the professional level, but it should be exciting.
Yep. If anybody on the broadcast mentions that song, please let them have it on social media, on the app, and just give it to them. Here we go. Ilios, our control map, a little bit of capture or King of the Hill action, rather. San Francisco Shock versus Atlanta Reign. And let's see what these guys have got right now. We're looking at the 3-3 with the Reinhardt on both sides.
Yeah, as we take a look at this, you know, San Francisco Shock, looking at their statistics in stage 2, in the regular season, they were winning 40% of team fights when they lost the first player. That is basically an unheard of statistic in the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
You know, if you lose that first player, most teams are down at, say, like approximately 20% win rate. They doubled it. So they are a massive statistical anomaly right now, and playing with the player down.
Pokpo and Dako getting a little bit lower early off the bat. That's Pokpo gets the first kill onto Rascal. Dako, though, pays for it with his mech. Now Pokpo does have to back away. So Atlanta Reign playing the defenders on the point right now. Oh, and Super goes down too. So it's a good start for Atlanta. They're probably going to get some control percent going.
And of course I caster curse them, Doa. Rascal falls
did.
first, and this is one of those 60% of fights that they lose after that happens. So Atlanta muscling their way in.
I mean, it is still more than half of the fights that they lose.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's not exactly 50-50. Well, I'm amazed that those plants don't get destroyed with people walking over them all day. Those are resilient plants they have in the future. Huh?
Yeah, they're actually just made out of nano machines.
That's sad. All the plants are dead in Overwatch. Man, Monty bringing the grim news here. Babybay on that Zarya on board with him. Gets stunned by the Earth Shatter, though. They've got the Transcendence to keep everybody up, and that's going to let them move in. But no, now the grab comes in. Transcendence over, and that was Sinatra's moment. But the Earth Shatter comes in from Atlanta this time, and Rascal, the first to fall yet again. Low health members across the board, but Atlanta Reign has that sound barrier to stay alive, and they are going to be able to force Shock back again, it looks like. Not bad. Reset from the San Francisco Shock, and Atlanta Reign almost at 60% already.
Shock look very uncoordinated compared to how we normally see them play. Throwing out some ultimates early there, not getting any value really out of that Graviton Surge, and counter grab coming in from the Reign to keep it together, and they're holding on to this point, still haven't given up any percentage.
Yeah, now the ult advantage definitely swinging in San Francisco's favor, but they don't have any of those big crowd control ultimates to start the fights off. It's going to be Dako using that self-destruct. Sound barrier for San Francisco as they go in. Popo and Erster down already, so it looks like finally the Shock should be able to flip this one.
Yeah, long last one. That bubble coming up just in the nick of time
to
keep Sinatra up. But you know, Atlanta Reign, they're going to be coming back with basically 4 ultimates right here. San Francisco had to invest pretty heavily. This is a big stagger, though.
Yeah, that could be a big problem for the Reign, but hey, you know what?
Ooh, really
honestly,
nice.
The staggers are not as concerning as they usually would be because they do have time. You don't want to take too long, but this does give Reign a little bit more time to build up the ultimate economy, and where San Francisco Shock didn't really need to use any big ones to take the point last time, Reign's going to need all the ults they can get.
Yeah, but Shock is going to get some more of those support ult charge back, right, on the Brigitte and on the Lucio. So for them, they're really making them pay for it every step of the way. Sinatra still going to be relatively charged up right now. Baby starting to get there, finally over 70%.
And Baby's got the ult, man. He's ready. He's got the grab. He's going to try to separate Super maybe now. So back to his team. Choyobin on the high ground, protecting there. Trying to eat that grab from behind. It's going to be the grab used by Sinatra, and now it gets thrown in by Baby Bay. Kills coming in for the Atlanta Reign. A little bit better than the Shock right now. There goes Moth, and I feel like the Shock have to reset this. They got to back away.
They have to back away right now.
Oh,
They've got to get out of the situation, and that's going to be a stagger. I mean, Atlanta Reign probably have this wrapped up at the moment because there's not going to be a full complement of Shock players to get back to the point.
I mean, unless Choyobin gets like the best self-destruct of all time, yeah, it's looking pretty good for the Atlanta Reign. They're at 90% right now.
He's got to use it to just open up this point. He's got to throw the mech in just to cover the ground so his team can get to the point itself.
Yeah, you got to engage with it. Rascal's got the rally too. Yeah, get that extra armor. Oh no, Choyobin gets just knocked off by Erster. He didn't have the charge. What a play by Erster. Pokepo does go down though, so Reign in a little bit of trouble without their main tank. Maybe they can pull it off though. Super trapped in the grab, but Violet does have the Transcendence to keep people healed. Now Shock trying to just move it on the point as best they can, but Sinatra, who gets that sound barrier, gets the shields just in time, and they're turning it around. Atlanta Reign, they have to give it over.
Wow. So there you go, Dylan. There is one of those team fights where they lose the first player and still manage to win. The focus there on the Choyobin bought enough time for them, the Shock, to focus down Pokepo in the front line and then slowly muscle their way onto the point. San Francisco Shock somehow turning that fight around, and they're going to be coming in with a healthy ult advantage.
That's surprising. Like, D.Va's not a hero you can really lose early in a fight and win too many of them. So that was pretty Herculean effort by the Shock, but they got to close it out, and killing Masa early in this fight certainly helped. 95%. This may be the last fight for Reign. Oh, Super drops D.Va with the Earth Shatter now, and that's Dako out of the mech. That's a problem. Sinatra's got the grab, and even with the Shatter coming in, it doesn't matter. 3K for Choyobin at the end, and that was a round that Shock really kind of pulled out of the fire.
Yeah, that is rough for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget, guys, we're excited to announce our Overwatch League third kit collection of jerseys. The collection features brand new team-designed jerseys for 15 teams. You'll see the players wearing them throughout this week at special times in the season. You can gear up and join them. That's right. Go to
Me?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
Believe it or not, I can too. Go to see the new jerseys at shop.overwatchleague.com and on fanatics.com, and that's why they pay us the big bucks, man. That's right, for
your shilling skills are
delivery
second
like
to
that.
none.
That's right. That's why we're the best. And you can be the best too if you buy those jerseys. All right, here we go. They're pretty sick. Shock moving out, trying to make it a 2-0 here on Ilios. Atlanta Reign, though, came close. They came close in round one.
I mean, that's definitely a point they're going to be kicking themselves over.
Oh.
They had such a huge advantage with the late staggers.
Indeed. Atlanta Reign getting aggressive now. They look angry, I can tell. Masa, though, He's gonna have to stew in the spawn as he's taken out early by Sinatra. And there's another one, Sinatra at 2K right off the bat. Pokpo not surviving too long, and it's gonna be the early control percent built up by the Shock this time.
And I think the Shock, they may have started out slow here, but they're back to their old tricks. Excellent focus fire right now. Great bubble management from Sinatra. You'll notice that him and Super are often trading who is in the front line based on the bubbles. That
Super
was
got
not so
smashed.
good. Sorry, they were not quite far enough forward there. Super was taking too much of a risk with the bubble cooldown. Was not available.
All right, well, they got Dogman in return, so it's so much sort of a 5v5 at this point. Atlanta Reign getting some purchase on point, and we've got a pause. Oh my goodness. This has already become more intense than the entire last season of Game of Thrones. Wow, how about that?
Wasn't hard, though.
That's right. Well, here we go, guys. It's time to take a little bit of a break. Whenever something like this happens, we have to remind ourselves that occasionally, the vehicle of technology, as it's been said many times by the great StarCraft caster Tasteless, breaks down. And we need to bring in our wizards, our mechanics, if you will, in this case, to fix Rascal's PC.
It's all right, though.
Or whatever's wrong with it. You know, sometimes
the upside of esports is we'll never have a no call on pass interference that ruins a game.
that is a great point. That is very true. You know, the funny thing is that like a lot of times these issues end up where like a player hits a hotkey they don't know, like turns off the sound effects or something like that. It happens more often than you think.
True. I also believe it's Rascal's fault.
It could be. It could be either way. You never know. In my experience, it's like 50-50. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to talk about Dogman a little bit because we haven't had a chance to chat about him in a while because he's such an interesting player in that he's sort of like the ultimate double-edged flex support sword right now.
Sure.
Because on one hand, he's third in the league overall on final blows on Zenyatta. Yet he is also #1 in deaths per 10 minutes on Zenyatta. So he gives and he takes, right? He tends to play very aggressively, play very aggressive angles, and sometimes that allows him to surprise people and one-shot them, and sometimes he beats.
You know, and this is why Dogman and I have always gotten along, because we realize that sometimes you need to give your life to get those extra bloodthirsty kills. I appreciate that. Back in the action now as San Francisco Shock cleans up the point. They are going to keep building control percentage.
I'm just generally a fan of players that have very distinct styles, and I think we can definitely say that about Dogman.
Yeah, for sure. He makes it work, you know? Most of the time.
Half the time.
60% of the time, it works every time. Shock rolling in. They got a lot of ultimates to defend this with, but Super is getting a little bit low, getting a bit cut off from his team. Dangerous, they gotta save their tank. Yeah, there's the grab, Moth caught up in it. Are they gonna be able to finish him off? Not quite, no. Self-destruct comes down, Super knocked down though by Pokpo's Earth Shatter, gets charged back, and they manage to finally carve Super off from the rest of the team, and even with that sound barrier there for Shock, they're in a little bit of trouble here, as Atlanta Reign has the numbers advantage on the point right now. That said, Pokpo, ooh, he got low before he got healed up by his team. Close call there. Choyobin down though, out of the mech. Might as well be down. Now he's officially in. It looks like Reign should be able to flip it.
It's going to be a 5 versus 5 on this point, so Shock have a chance to hold. Depends on what maybe they can do. He's actually going to get killed by Super, but Atlanta too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They just had enough of the control switched at that point that you have to really pile in an inefficient way as Shock to try to take it. And you couldn't. It's okay. Shock has tons of time. They're up at 92%, only about 12% for Reign right now, so Shock can take it kind of slow now.
Yeah, what Atlanta's doing, though, on this point in particular here on Ruins is sort of baiting Super in. So he's been pretty deep in the enemy formation when Sinatra's bubble is on cooldown. And they've been exploiting that. Also, just having good support ult timing, being just a half step behind, which gives you that advantage to close out the fight like we saw with Boss's sound barrier in that last engagement.
Wow, Sinatra used that grab as the second he gets it. Dean, though, not able to really follow up for any kills. Now it's going to be Reign responding with a couple of support ultimates to keep people alive. Moth actually goes down to Dako's self-destruct, and Super finds himself spinning to try to live on the point, but he can't. Atlanta Reign, they are going to just keep gaining that control percent.
I'm saying Shock really committed to that last fight when it comes to their ultimates, and now they've reset their economy. So you can maybe do an eco push with the rally here. Go ahead and have Rascal use that and try and charge for the next fight. Atlanta Reign, though, gonna have that sound barrier, so they can hold on most likely.
You know, Sinatra used that grab like the moment he got it, and it just seemed like a little bit out of sync with the rest of the team's plans.
He already has 60% of another one, don't
Yeah, he builds them so fast. It usually doesn't matter, but still, you know, something to consider. Pokemon looking for a good Earth Shatter here. Oh, and he finds one. Dogman down, though, and they can't follow up the charge for Pokemon, not getting onto anybody. Choyobin demeched. Shock still, though, able to push in here. Erster down, and Pokemon really, really low. There you go. That is a nice fire strike from Super to finish off Masa as well. Shock flip it back. They're at 94, now 95%, and I don't know if Reign can really contest this. It's going to be desperation here.
They're trying to get
9.
back. They have a Diva here.
All right. Diva's in there. Dako's going to have to give up his mech. Now it's Pokepo back again on the Hammond. Wrecking Ball doing what he can here, but there's already a sound barrier in play for the San Francisco Shock. They can be as aggressive as they want. They've got so much extra health with those shields. It's looking okay.
That sound barrier.
Yeah, it's looking real okay for the Shock right now. They lose Chayobin back. You know, I cast a curse. Maybe I did. I don't know. Mob down already. Reign trying to turn it around. They've got Rascal as well. Are you kidding me? Reign.
That sound barrier came way too early, Don. That's what I was saying. San Francisco Shock. I mean, but the thing is, Atlanta has been doing a great job off of disengaging off of other ultimates, and now they have to desperation fight here.
Well, it's not ideal, but at least they've already got one round here, so we are going to a third one. Tied up.
A bit sloppy from both teams. I mean, you look at those points, the last 2 points, and you would say the controlling team had a substantial advantage coming into the waning moments. And in both instances, the team with a player down, a team with a disadvantage manages to come back. That's just, you can't play like that at this level, really.
Clearly, everybody's a little bit rusty after the break. I can understand
It's a bit
that,
sloppy
yeah.
for sure.
It is a little bit.
Both teams have gotten ahead of themselves a little bit, committing ultimates they don't necessarily have to use.
Yeah.
If San Francisco holds that sound barrier and just forces the Atlanta Reign to engage on them, that's going to be a very different outcome to the end of Ruins.
And so it comes to this, the Well on Ilios, the final round of our first map here. Pokemon rolling out with the Orisa this time. Looks like they're gonna try to set up a bit of a bunker with Baby Bay on the Bastion.
Super is just playing Roadhog, so they're playing what is no main tank effectively.
Yeah.
Coming in here. Meanwhile, Atlanta Reign, they do have that barrier for the Orisa.
I mean, you run the Roadhog because it's got a lot of health and you want to get picks in the well, right? You can use that hook to drag people into the middle if they're not paying attention.
The problem is you don't have any point presence with this composition because you have to play around bubble cooldowns, and Rascal was just solo flanking the Bastion, so
I don't know.
Not sure what kind of mission he was on right
I thought
there.
he was playing Sombra for a second there. He's like, oh shoot, I'm still Brigida. No. It happens to everybody, right? Atlanta Reign, easy control over the point, and I would imagine we're going to see some hero swaps.
Yeah, unfortunately, this composition that Shock is running is just terrible against bunker comps, and there's not really a way to get around that. Like, how do you hook around this composition? Because you have that Orisa barrier there, and if you try and contest the point, the Bastion will just put pump damage into you. So, necessary swaps coming through. They are going to play the Wrecking Ball now for some more dive.
Yeah, they're going to just try to get onto the bunker, get onto the Bastion as fast as they can here. With as much damage as they can. Yeah, Super trying to knock people out of the way, gets stunned going into it. Has a ton of shields. Does adaptive shields that Wrecking Ball gets. They're going to get aggressive here, though, and that's going to cause Dogman to use that Transcendence. Baby Bay now comes in with the configuration tank. Mob with a nice kill on the Dogman. Environmental kills coming in, man. He had a lot of them last stage. And it's going to be the extra damage for Orisa for just a moment, but Popo Supercharger goes down fast. Doesn't matter, though, because Baby Bay in a great position with this Bastion. Nobody's getting close to him.
Yeah, it's been great for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah.
They're here, and they're trying to go ahead and snap this stage map win streak for the San Francisco Shock. They made it all the way through stage 2 without dropping a map in the regular season, and now their first map back, it may end the streak.
True enough, Golden Stage might get ended before it begins here in Stage 3. Shock with a couple ultimates to use coming into it. Actually, quite a few if you look at the heroes that are getting closer percentage-wise.
Yeah, the thing is, it's just because of the comp swap at the beginning, they reset their economy, and that just gave up 70% over to the Reign.
It isn't great. Oh, it isn't great for Shock either to lose Violet at the beginning of this fight. You can't have that happen if you're Shock.
No, now you have to be in a situation where you will have to fight very late. They have to use self-destruct because Daco's getting low just to zone out. Violet's only just spawned though. It's a 5 versus 6. And goodbye,
Super!
Oh, he got out.
Got out. Grappling hook. Who knows how physics works? Vasa gets a nice environmental kill into Rascal though. Atlanta Reign trying to stick with this one. Vasa trying to deliver, and we're into overtime right now. Shock needs to flip the point, and they're gonna have to do it without Moth. It's gonna be tough. Dog man down though. Vasa down as well. Shock trying to turn this one around. Shoyo Ban firing rockets on the high ground, just trying to keep the point alive, but Baby Bay keeps repositioning on this Bastion. It's tough to get onto him. They're gonna finally try to bum rush him with Violet's Zenyatta. Oh, Poke goes off, so that's gonna be the reset in Atlanta Reign. They're gonna regroup.
I mean, the nice thing, though, if you are the Reign, you have the opportunity just to switch off this composition right now, go to 3-3, and that's what they're going to do. See if they stick around for Popo's supercharger or not.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I feel like the supercharger isn't that vital, but
I would have probably swapped to Winston right here. You could run, obviously, either the traditional Winston or Rhyme 3-3, but I don't know about staying on the Orisa. We'll see what they can do. The advantage is you can use a supercharger to charge other ultimates with damage on your team.
a really close call for Super. He got shield bash. Gets a nice minefield, though, right on top of the supercharger. Zones a lot of people out from using it before it goes down. Sinatra down early, though, and there goes Rascal. Atlanta Reign turning this fight around really fast. It was an okay setup from Super, but Reign not phased by it at all. There goes Violet. Overtime ticking away. That might be it, man. Stage 2, not a single map loss for the San Francisco Shock. And now, in the very first map of Stage 3, they will drop one. Atlanta Reign. It's gonna take Ilios as soon as they clean this up. Rascal helping the team cling to life, but that's it. Reign takes map 1.
You really gotta like how Reign looked right there. Super punished that entire map, especially on that Reinhardt. Reign disengaging better, baiting the tank line of the Shock in, and they're going to go up 1-0 in this series.
Well, it's a different stage already here. Exciting stuff, man. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, more action here on the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Oh, the golden stage over before it began, courtesy of Atlanta Reign, taking a map off the San Francisco Shock. Great start for them, but you know, Shock looking a little bit rusty after the break, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were, and especially in their positioning, they weren't playing as the unit that we normally see them in terms of their very crisp teamwork, but there was also something weird that happened there with Sinatra's grab at the end of Well that we didn't actually get to see on the screen. So we'll take a look at that. I have not seen it yet either. I just heard the audio cue during that fight.
Real reaction video now.
Yeah, this is a real reaction video.
That grab
So
go.
where did it go? Where did the grab go? Oh,
It entered the game. That's where it went.
oh, okay.
Kind of went around the corner. Didn't really hit anybody. That's a real answer there. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it did catch some people, but
Yeah. I think it just
it was a
ineffective.
little difficult to see in the middle of everything.
Right.
But coming in, I mean, super, was leading his teams in depths for most of that match. And what we saw when they played the Titans at the end of Stage 1 in those finals was, so what Super and Sinatra typically do is they alternate who's going forward depending on the bubble cooldown. So Shock isn't a team that uses both bubbles at the same time in the way that, say, the Titans do to engage. Frequently, they'll just play this very complex dance in and out with Super and Sinatra to max up the energy, make sure that they're doing the most damage in the sort of the neutral poke game that happens.
Right.
And it's been very effective, but we're not really seeing that. Like, what's happening today is Super is going in, the bubble is going away, and then Super is still in there, and he's dying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to see things cleaned up a little bit as we move on to Paris, onto our assault map here.
But the dream is dead. The double golden stage dream already dead.
Well, I mean, we said we probably would never see it again in Overwatch League, and look, we're guaranteed to not see it at least from Shock this stage. Who knows? Maybe Atlanta can do it this time.
Yeah, Atlanta, though, coming in, they do have that upset potential. You don't beat the NYXL twice as a fluke. You might call them the Robin Hood of the Overwatch League, stealing wins from the rich team, donating them to the poor teams like the Valiant. Truly noble, the Atlanta Reign.
That is true. Yeah, they are our most honorable team in the Overwatch League at this point. So nice. See how nice they decided to be here on Paris. Atlanta Reign on the attack on our assault map. Got to take point A, you get a chance to take point B, and you will see perhaps a little bit of swapping.
Yeah, Daco just going to go ahead and scout on that Sombra. They are going to see what we typically see from the Shock, which is a 3-3 with Reinhardt, but of course Rascal on the Batiste.
Yeah, when you play defense like this, some teams like to run the Batiste instead of the Brigida because you get more poking in.
Yes, and also I think that this change allows them to play a little bit more passively. And if the Shock have been sort of tempted into playing too aggressively, this is a great way to sort of, switch your play style up a little bit and try and solve that problem.
Yeah, Rascal, arguably our best Batiste players in stage 2 too, and that's why. That is exactly why, man. You take the accuracy of a DPS player and you put him on a hero like Batiste, it's going to be some damage done.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly that he is the best Batiste player in this league. And the issue is, like you're saying, Doa, when you're on a point like this, so the approach is through a lot of open ground. Now, Brigida's healing only activates when she's hitting people with her flail.
Right.
So you're getting so much more healing, you're getting so much more poking. We saw mostly primary fire right there, taking a look at Rascal's point of view. And by the time they approach you, the immortality field is ready.
Well, the grenade does so much AoE healing, too, that when everybody's clumped up like that, you don't need a whole lot of it. You do get a lot of extra time to shoot people. Playing a lot of Batiste lately, and he is fun. Super with an Earth Shatter.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Ooh, tricky.
That was quite tricky.
Hit anybody? All right.
No, it did
really
not.
hit anybody, though. It looked cool anyway. Oh well.
Style points.
Yeah, that's right. Atlanta Reign, though, they might get the actual point as point A is 2/3 taken already. They got to win the fight, though. Sinatra on board with him as he drops the Graviton Surge. Gonna bring out the sound barrier from Atlanta Reign as they try to stay alive. Erster so low, and Sinatra finishes him. Now it's gonna be the grab coming in from Reign. Doesn't matter though, Shock grabs the kills anyway. Choyobin with the self-destruct, Daco not hit by that one. So it's just Daco and Babybay trying to keep this attack going. Babybay finally going down, and it looks like San Francisco may have actually saved it at the very end. Wow, I'm actually pretty surprised they held on to that.
I mean, they have so much healing still, though. And the Batiste was still there. Obviously, Sinatra charged up on the point, so the sustain simply better for the San Francisco Shock when you're down in those little 3 versus 3 or 4 versus 4 skirmishes. They're just going to reset here. They already have another amplification matrix from Rascal.
Right.
So opportunities to use that with the Fire Strike and with the Zarya alternate fire on the approach.
Here we go. The approach anyway. Babybay taking a lot of damage, has to use that shield bit earlier than he maybe wanted to. AoE healing comes in from Rascal.
Best part of using the Batiste on that point is standing on that kiosk, because there's nobody to challenge you if they're running Rein 3-3. It's just free damage over the top of a Reinhardt shield.
Yeah. you build that amplification matrix ultimate really fast too. Ooh, Shannon comes in, doesn't hit anybody, got blocked by Popo. He was ready, and that's going to be an engage now for the Rain as they try to capitalize on it. Super, though, comes in, gets two, just swings away into the Atlanta Rain, and the Shock having no trouble holding that one.
A great placement. They managed to catch one of the members of the Rain on the outside of the pillar of the kiosk there, so no line of sight in order to get healing. That allows for an easy target selection on the side of the San Francisco Shock. Look at this, Baby Base coming in with a Graviton. There's something they can use, although the Sound Barrier and Trance available. Shock have multiple ways to answer that crowd control.
Yep, sure enough. One more attack here for Atlanta Raid. They gotta get it done right now if they want to keep going on their attack here. Grab for Baby Bay, he's got it ready to go. If Choyobin can eat it, that would be huge. Popo a little bit low, the amplification matrix down. Self-destruct comes in, oh, it hits Baby Bay. He had used his ult, but they didn't get any kills. Popo down as well, and it is all Shock. Looks like it's gonna be a full hold here on point A. Just about maybe, I would say like 75% of the point taken overall. That's where Shock's didn't have to get to, but that was a great defense from San Francisco.
Yeah, 83% at the end of the day. But yes, that is just a great defense from the Shock. But
yeah,
they do this Batiste composition better than anybody else in the league. That is their bread and butter.
They really do. When we come back, Shock on the attack. Well, it's hard to get much better than the defense was for San Francisco Shock here on the first round we saw on Paris, only allowing 83.6% of the point to be taken. That's where they're gonna have to get if they want to win this map. Don't forget the match of the week, NYXL taking on the London Spitfire on Sunday. That should be pretty fun, 12 p.m. Pacific time on a lot of different places.
And who knows who's going to win that one too, because obviously New York both teams coming out of a first round playoff exit, but look, yeah, the New York Excelsior also dropping those late two maps to the Atlanta Rain, so they might be in a position of weakness that we have not seen the NYXL in ever in the Overwatch League.
London's one of those teams too where you never know when they're
you never know what you're gonna get.
The best team ever, yeah. For example, last year. San Francisco Shock on the attack now. Again, remember, they only need part of the point to win the map. Getting split up here a little bit by the Rain. As the Rain try to get a little bit aggressive here on Super as his health drops low. He's got the Zarya shield for the moment, but it's gone now. Shield almost out of commission as well. But Popo, the one who needs to be kept alive here, he has to back around the corner, and that's going to allow Shock to jump right on the point. Look at that positioning. Baby Bay knocked off the edge, too, by Rascal. And this is the smooth, tight, methodical approaches that we're used to seeing from the Shock.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's basically going to do it right now. They have to force themselves back onto the point. They're going to barely get there.
Yeah, Popo tried to go for the charge, so Sinatra going to finish him. And the Earth Shatter all ready to go for Super. The charge on Masa just icing on the cake, and that is it. Blink and you miss it. Shock tie up this series with a win on Paris.
Very nicely done. That's more the Shock we expected to see. I think taking that little break and moving over to the Batiste, the more passive composition, helped them, I think, get some of those jitters back under control. They looked a lot crisper coming into Paris.
Absolutely. When we come back, halftime. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Into the iris. Experience into the iris.
Готовности!
Into the iris. Pass into the iris.
Keep it up.
Hey,
Keep it
calm,
up.
calm. Reset. Deep breath. Okay.
After this, I'm going to call Rascal a feeder. Hey,
come on.
hey, Rascal's a feeder! Nice.
At least you let him know it was coming, guys. That's Dogman letting Rascal know he got the better of him in map 1. But Rascal and the Shock, they battled back to tie things up. It's one apiece here at the half, pugging alongside Bren and Zoe. And we got to talk about these games because the Shock, they were on a 28-map win streak throughout the regular season in Stage 2. We expected that streak to continue. Atlanta says no right out of the gates.
Yeah, and I'm honestly very, very impressed with what we've seen from the Atlanta Reign so far. They looked a lot more cohesive than they previously did. I dare say that a lot of really great moments. I specifically was very impressed with their ult management. Yeah, Masa got picked off more than once with the attempts of booping, so I think he died twice trying that. But overall, I do think that Atlanta Reign played very tight, very good.
He did a great job dealing with Super on that wrecking ball as well. But when we went to Paris, Bren, this was a one-sided affair.
It absolutely was. Big part of this being Rascal as well. I mean, this is just mainly the attack that we're seeing here from Sinatra. He cleaned up a bit of his own play. But on the defensive side, something that we talk about a lot is the way that they use Batiste, the newest hero to be coming into the league. Rascal is pretty much leading in almost every single major statistical category right now. He's leading the way when it comes to playing that hero, and you can see it's part of their bread and butter.
I can't wait to just go back and watch his replays to see where he positions all the time as well on that hero. But so let's talk about this Atlanta squad because they did take down the NYXL twice. Back-to-back matches against that squad. Is there a chance they kill another Giant after watching the first half?
I mean, Pocket, this is Overwatch. Anything is possible. And frankly, Shock looked a little bit shaky. They didn't play quite as clean as what we used from them. I hope this is just a matter of, you know, warming back up and kind of coming back into this. So I do think, realistically, you can't really say, like, oh, they're going to lose the next 2 maps.
Right.
But, of course, there's always a chance.
Reign could take it to a Game 5, or they could lock it up in the second half. But let's look even bigger picture because there's been a lot of talk. Who is the top dog in the Overwatch League? The Vancouver Titans, they took our first stage, but then it was the Shock's turn. So we got a little fan feedback here.
And it looks like 60% of the folks believe it's all San Francisco.
I can appreciate this. You know, 60% of the people are apparently they are quite intelligent. You know, they recognize which is currently the most dominant team. I was making this argument in our pre-show today. Josh was arguing for the Vancouver Titans.
Yeah, but your reasoning wasn't really that clean.
Oh, it was
to be honest.
concrete. It was
I'm
rock
not
solid.
sure.
It was, there was not a weakness in it. No, it was. I mean, yes, San Francisco shot. They haven't been looking too good in this series so far. Shaky, inconsistent. But I feel like, again, they've stepped it up on the Paris. But I want to take a look at some of the responses here from some of these people. Because I was cracking up at some of these. Like, this is actually very reasonable. You know, a Titans fan just saying, you know, San Francisco, they just pulled off an amazing stage. They're light years above everyone else. A reasonable take there, Benjamin. But this killed me. Why isn't Outlaws an option? Sorry, do I need glasses? What league have you been watching where this is the case? Like, my goodness. I don't know what to say with that. Stage 2, Outlaws, 0-7.
He's coming back
0-7.
after watching the first season.
0-7,
Welcome
Chris.
back. We're in our second season here of the Overwatch League, and right now, this match is all knotted up at 1 apiece. So who wins it?
Shock.
It's a shock. We'll find out. Is she right? Second half coming up right now.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, guys. We're all tied up between the San Francisco Shock and the Atlanta Reign here at our very first match of Overwatch League Stage 3. It's been a fun one so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been, and we started off obviously on Ilios, where the Shock looked a little bit rough, even though it was a very close 2-1 win for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah.
Move right into Paris, and it becomes
not so close.
Very one-sided for the San Francisco Shock, as they look like they have regained their footing, maybe back up to speed right now, and looking to keep their win streak alive.
Yeah.
Reminder that if they do win today, they will be on an 11-match win streak, including all of Stage 2 and the Stage 2 playoffs. So going to be going ahead and trying to chase that immense really achievement that the Titans had, winning all of their matches up until that Stage 2 final.
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm the Shock right now, I'm kind of glad I lost that first map, because then you don't have that extra pressure of the golden stage on you. Like, and dude, the golden stage doesn't really get you a whole lot if you're winning every match at the same time. You know, yeah, map differential matters, but if you're undefeated in matches, then the maps are just kind of icing on the cake. So now you don't have to necessarily worry about that. A little bit of pressure taken off for the stage, I feel like.
Well, it's also that the Shock are coming in third place in overall standings, but but their map differential was already so good that they have a better map differential than the number 2 team, the NYXL.
Right.
So all you have to do is match them in terms of that match score, and you will jump right ahead. So the map differential, as a result of that golden stage, looking great.
Right. And either way, as we enter stage 3 and we start to kind of think about what teams' overall records are going to start meaning for playoffs down the line, Shock still in a great place to get to those playoffs unless something goes totally wrong in the next couple stages. But Rain on the other side, Baby Bay, of course, playing against his former team today. They are 7-7 overall in the standings, so they really want to get every win they can this stage.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough start. We talked about this coming into the match, but Atlanta have to play San Francisco and Vancouver, which are unquestionably the best 2 teams in this league.
Literally the hardest week you can have, aside from playing Vancouver twice.
Or Shock
I
think it's even harder.
All right.
I think it's even harder to play each of them because they have 2 very different styles.
That's a good
So,
point.
I mean, both of them are aggressive, but Vancouver a little bit more all in, and Shock tend to dance around and poke a little bit more. Certainly Shock playing a lot more of that Batiste. So when you don't have to play the same team twice, you're prepping for 2 different teams that are both very strong, and it becomes a bit difficult, I think, if you're the Atlanta Reign.
It's not going to be easy either way. Well, here we go. Our hybrid map back again for stage 3. It's Hollywood. It's actually my favorite map in Overwatch, Monty. I was telling you this during the break. I'm sure you wanted to hear me say it again.
Your favorite thing you told me was that
you know what I love too?
Pauses?
I do.
And
because here we are. You can see our beautiful faces.
And you love random elevators. That's what you said. You said the best
That's right.
part
Yeah.
is
I love
random elevators instead of jump pads.
I actually just love verbally abusive robots. That's my favorite part of Hollywood.
He's a huge Futurama fan.
Big fan of HK47. He's out there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Meatbag. Yep. So now we're gonna have to see what's up. Looks like Rascal's computer, or perhaps Rascal himself, has an issue again. Maybe he hit that hotkey. Maybe the hotkey hit him. You never know.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's right.
Our referees are here to fix these issues on stage.
The wizards of technology.
Rascal really having a standout map though on the Batiste last time. But it's easy when nobody can challenge you on top of a tall structure when you're playing 3-3.
That does help, yeah.
It's just, high ground's such an advantage. It's much easier to click on ahead when it's on the high ground and you're just looking down straight on that hitbox.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll see what's up with this. Now, speaking of Rascal, too, we will see him play the Brigida again on this map, undoubtedly, and we're going to look for a little bit stronger of a performance than what we saw on Ilios, because things were getting a little bit wacky at the end of that. He was going on some kind of crazy commando flanks at the end there.
You heard it. You guys heard the shouting "Rascal is a feeder" that Dogman was doing, and you know what?
He wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong.
No.
He was going on solo flanks. On Ruins, he tried to solo Dogman, and then he tried to just 1v1 a Bastion. So definitely calm down a little bit, though. Now
I respect that.
Yeah, they're gonna wrap around all the way around the point. Are the San Francisco Shock?
Yep. Brigida trying to solo Bastion. I respect that. That
Super
cool.
too far forward again. Ooh, barely living through that one.
Yeah. Baby getting a little bit low too. It's going to be a DMAC on a Choyobin though as we start things off. Shock down there deep, but now down there's Zenyatta, and it's looking like Rain is going to probably be able to keep the defense going here on point A. Super down.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get any limbs. They're not going to be able to save Sinatra's charge either. It's just bouncing around on the point, dealing as much damage as he can.
Yep.
Both players, actually, no, just Sinatra going to have the Graviton Surge right now, dealing a lot of damage at the tail end of that fight. Baby Bay's still about 30% out. So
I mean, how about that? Shock loses the fight, but Sinatra has his grab. Baby Bay at 70%.
Well, Sinatra did 700 more damage than Baby Bay in that fight.
It's crazy how much damage Sinatra fits into your average fight.
That's why he's the #1 damage per 10 minutes Zarya in the league, dog.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. Right there. There goes Dogman. Violet finds a finishing blow, and now it's going to be a 6v5.
Now.
That's right. You can use that without having to worry about the Transcendence. Rain in big trouble. They're just going to back away. They got to do something. Oh, nice good shatter from Popo. They're going to need the kill zone, but it looks like Violet has a Transcendence just in time to keep his team healed, but now the grab comes in. Self-destruct. Nope, nothing out of that one. Big shatter again coming in. from the Shock, and that is going to be point A.
And that's the big problem with Dogman dying first. He needs to play passively in that situation because they didn't have a grab at the start of that engagement. They needed Dogman to stay alive with the trance, knowing that Sinatra was going to have the grab. So in that scenario, you can't be greedy on those peaks. He got one shot by Violet, and that means that Shock have an opening to use that Graviton Surge and pick up a bunch of those eliminations before he can return.
I think he kind of just moved a little bit too far around the shield there too, and that's what left him a bit exposed.
I mean, you just can't take those peaks when you know they have grab and you don't have grab.
Yeah. And again, I respect that, but you do get killed while doing it. Sinatra having to back away as pressure comes in from Atlanta Reign. It's going to be a re-engage from Troy. Self-destruct. It's going to catch Dogman. Talk about being the wrong place at the wrong time again. Super does go down, but Dogman dies. Transcendence got used during all that as well. Shock's still trying to fight this one. Choya Bin magically stays in his mech here. It's going to be the grab that's going to lead to the death of Rascal, and now a big shatter from Popo to finish off the fight. So a bit of defensive stability at the end of B for Reign.
And Choi Hyobin critically, doesn't escape with the mech, so he will get staggered in the end. Good aggressive play coming in by the Reign to make sure they get that punish elimination. Shock pushed all the way back now to their spawn. Graviton coming online again though. Masa saving that sound barrier for Sinatra Zarya ult.
This is where we see teams defend on B a lot of times. You hold it in the choke, you get the cart right there. So you've got that kind of like a little canyon between the buildings, funnel people through. Sinatra though, that grab gonna go in and try to trap Popo against the wall. Their sound barrier gonna keep him alive, and now the engage with Daco self-destruct. Finds two, Sinatra Violet down, and Atlanta Reign defend again. That was just a wonderfully placed self-destruct by Daco.
And we should talk more about Daco, because when we discuss the Atlanta Reign struggles at the start of stage 2, Daco is one of the best players on this roster. You could make an argument, in fact, that he is the best player on this roster for the Atlanta Reign, and not having him was a big, big hole. Now that he's returned, that's helped out with a couple wins against the XL, and you know, they're holding strong now here against the Shock.
There we go. Baby Bay throws in the Graviton Surge. Transcendence there for Shock, though. Stay healed up. Popo tries to duck his way in there with another shatter, but this time Super is ready, but is he ready to stay alive? No, not quite. Zarya Shield can't keep him going, and that's going to be Reign again, pushing the Shock back. You know, they've done such a good job, and this is something that, another thing to piggyback on what you were saying, bring Daco back. That is not a grab that Shock is going to get anything out of.
And there's no follow-up on that either. They're not going to go ahead and throw the mech in. They were already a player down. Sinatra may build those grabs quickly, but it's been a little bit fast on the trigger finger. And honestly, Baby Bay's been building grabs faster than Sinatra by about 10 seconds per grab so far on this map.
Wow, I thought after Paris we were going to see the momentum shift in a big way here. Looked good on point A, but now on B, Shock majorly stalled out. Sound barriers used for both teams, Popo rather. Earth Shatter doesn't find anybody. Super going up. Oh, coming down with the Earth Shatter. Sinatra though caught again by the self-destruct of Daco. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough to deliver Reign the fight this time, as Shock finally gets some momentum going here on point B.
Daco has been cutting off the damage that Sinatra provides, basically waiting until these team fights are engaged, and then he's just placing the mech between the front line and the back line, which means Sinatra has no place to go. He's either zoned out of the fight, or he's just straight up dying.
Yeah. It's been an odd point B. Yep, got it. And the payload keeps moving. Shock with only about 40 seconds now to finish point B. Either way, even if Reign does let this go to point C, they're still going to have a great advantage time-wise.
Oh, no.
But the Mutant Super down again. Once more. They carve him off from the team.
And that's Daco and Erster. They're working wonderfully together right now. He's swooping down from the roofs, and he's pushing Super forward. And now, I mean, this is awful for the Shock. Atlanta Reign should be easily able to hold here after pushing them back. Can anybody even get to the payload? Choi Hyobin's trying to flank around, but I'm not sure he's going to get there.
I don't know. Getting pretty low. He doesn't have his charge cooldown anymore. Now he got it back, but he got pushed back. Couldn't do it, but Moth, he's there trying to back cap. Managed to get there on the Lucio, but he's on his own as Choi Bin does go down. Moth as well. Can't stand the payload, and that looks like that's maybe
Oh,
where it's
just
gonna
barely
end.
there with the trance.
I don't know, man. Violet trying to keep this one going with the Transcendence, but that shatter from Popo is gonna end it. That is a great defense for Rain.
Yeah, fantastic. Can't even make it through point B. The San Francisco Shock held with only 1 point here on Hollywood.
Yeah, Rain with a great opportunity to take the lead in this series. Let's see if they can do it when we come back.
Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Well, the attack not going the way that Shock would have hoped here. Atlanta Reign with a great opportunity to take the lead in this series. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, because they only have to push it about like 2/3 of the way through point B, and you almost never see the payload get stopped on B on Hollywood. That's usually a part of the map that attackers move through fairly quickly.
Yeah, you just got to give it to the Rain. They had an excellent stall at the choke.
Yeah.
Pushing forward at the right time. They look like they have used their offseason well. You know, they suffered on Paris. Now, you can see they're coming in with this game plan. They really want to focus super down on this Reinhardt, and they're being successful because they're saving a lot of their movement abilities. Either Masa or Dako are repeatedly pushing super into the middle of the composition.
Yep. Ursa peeking a little bit to see what they're dealing with here. They're going to loop around the side. Yeah, probably go left here. Trying to keep Shock guessing. Super's going to jump down. That's going to push Atlanta Reign right back into the choke.
This is always a bit scary, though, because this is a great point for the San Francisco Shock. They love to play high ground Zarya. They're very good at it. Violet also just going to pick off Urster as he walks around the corner.
Yeah, you can never count out Violet's ability to just eliminate somebody from across the map, too. So accurate with those alternate fires on the Zenyatta. Now Baby Bay in a lot of trouble. There we go. Moth finishes him off with the right click. It's a great start for Shock on the defense.
Yeah, then they're going to stagger the Baby Diva, too. This is just excellent here.
Yep.
For the San Francisco Shock. Dako being bullied and finally taken out, but it's another 15 seconds or so off the clock that the Atlanta Reign will be unable to get back.
Yep. 250 now for Reign, so they still have a good amount of time. But remember, they need to take this and push the payload nearly to the end of B.
Ult advantage nearly across the board for the Shock, of course, just that patient style of staggering out the rest of the fight, capitalizing on Urster's early elimination.
All right, Super wondering if maybe he had an Earth Shatter opportunity there, but now as Rain loop around from behind, we'll see what Super decides to go with.
They're gonna know he has. You just play mind games with them right now. It slows up their approach every time he's flashing his shield, threatening the Shatter, playing the corner well.
Popo, 75% towards his about right now. We're waiting for it. Yep, trying to get behind Popo's shield. Sometimes you just dive ahead like that. There's a grab now. Sinatra gonna go and start it. Urster down. Violet with another nice headshot to finish that one off.
And you love that if you're the Shock, because you force out the trance, but the instant damage of the alternate fire headshot just crushes the enemy team. through the healing over time of the Transcendence. That's a good one, though.
You know what, though? Super committed the Earth Shatter. There was no follow-up. The follow-up, in fact, came from the other team as Rain came in and snagged a couple kills, and now they might have put together a fight that's going to take the point for
man.
Whoops.
Atlanta Reign have been good at disengaging so far in this series, and the Shock have been over-eager at pressing the attack a lot of the time. That time the Reign are able to bait them around that corner, and again, it's Dako who comes up with the self-destruct kill onto Sinatra.
Yeah, like Atlanta Reign is a totally different team with Dako in the lineup. We saw them, we talked about it a bit earlier, we saw them struggle when Dako was missing for a little while in stage number 2, and now that he's back again, getting to team up with his main tank Popo, it's made a big difference. I mean, except right there when Popo dies, but take my word for it.
Dako has 5 self-destruct kills so far on Hollywood, and it seems like all of them have been really team fight turning eliminations, and it's been Sinatra on the receiving end, probably about 4, I would say 4 or all 5 of those right now.
Speaking of Sinatra, on board with him as he gets closer to his grab. Next ultimate almost coming online here. San Francisco Shock tries to keep the defense going. Ooh, goes after Dako. Atlanta Reign back on the point. Shock trying to approach from the high ground. Sinatra is always going to do that, though. He's always going to be up on the high ground, getting as much damage in as he can. Super low.
He's got no barrier.
He's gone. And there's the shatter coming in. Baby Bay finishes him off, and now the grab used by Baby Bay as well. No kills from that one, but they do have the numbers advantage as they try to get this payload going. Self-destruct doesn't get anything for Shock. Now they got to try to sustain. Choyobin out of the mech right now. It's still looking pretty good for the Reign in this fight. Trying to focus down Sinatra. They will eventually. They give up Popo to do that, but they've got the faster respawns as well right now.
Shock just throwing everything at this, and they're going to come back and try and get the shatter.
All right, yeah, there's a shatter. Violet down, though. And so Atlanta Reign, again, I think because of those faster spawns as the attacker right here, are going to eventually just kind of overwhelm San Francisco, and that payload's going to start to move.
Oh, man. Shock used everything, Doa.
Yeah.
Even the self-destruct and the shatter at the very end of that engagement. Certainly Super gets about 2/3 of the way to the next one. But Atlanta Reign have such an ult economy advantage right now. Baby Bay can just drop this from above if he wants. They're going to have to clear him off there before they can do much of anything else. The threat of him dropping those right clicks from behind is just too much.
Really going to be on Choyobin as we see him pop up over the wall there to prevent the grab, to prevent the damage from coming in. If he can absorb the Graviton Surge, maybe that'll give Shock a chance. But look at that, the payload nearly there already. They only need to move it just like a meter or two further, and now Super down. There's a grab coming in from Baby Bay. Self-destruct for Dako, doesn't claim any kills, but it does scatter the San Francisco Shock team. They've got the sound barrier, last-ditch effort to try to prevent Reign from winning this map, but I don't think they're gonna be able to, man.
I don't think they're gonna be able to either. Moth is trying to get on the payload right now. That's a big shatter, but the sound barrier's already there.
As Super tries to turn it around, it was a nice effort with the Earth Shatter, but that's all it's gonna take for Atlanta Reign to take the lead in this series.
Fantastic work from the Reign. And Shock going back to what we saw in that first map. Overextension from the tank line. Some suspect, I think, sound barrier usage coming out of the Shock supports.
Right, bit of inconsistency on the San Francisco side. We'll see if they can tie it up when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности.
Atlanta Reign, one map away from taking this series. They took the lead over San Francisco Shock on Hollywood on our hybrid map, heading to Gibraltar next. But yeah, Baby Bay, everybody on this team, I think playing pretty well today. And it really is amazing how good this team gets when Daco comes back, huh?
I mean, it's true. And the fact that now that they've had time to gel together as a unit, because remember, coming into stage 2, I think they traded Baby Bay mere days before the stage started, so there wasn't a lot of time to really integrate him into the lineup. And Daco, he's been having a fantastic day. This is what we expect from one of the top flex tank players in the Overwatch League.
Look at that, casually just reclining in his chair. Not a care in the world. Knows he's going to own some more noobs here on our next map. It's going to be Gibraltar. Not that San Francisco are noobs. I would never suggest that about a team that went completely undefeated in the last stage.
The exact opposite of noobs. It's Gosu, you might say.
It's the royal noobs. You know, it's the general use of the word noobs. Right. I think that's how it is.
I do think that you would use the royal noobs referring to yourself, which
sometimes
is what that means.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Well, you're the English major or whatever. I don't know. I was an art major. I painted many beautiful pictures.
I believe you.
That's right. Yep.
You weren't a painting noob.
No. Painting goes. Here we go. Gibraltar. San Francisco Shock on the attack, trying to tie up this series. Atlanta Reign, what a feather in their cap it would be, so to speak, for them to take a win over Shock in the very first match of the stage, especially knowing you've got Vancouver coming a little bit later this week. So we've been dropping down with the rockets blazing, and the payload moving pretty fast. Not a lot of early aggressive defense from the Reign.
Yeah, I was walking in with Baby Bay to the studio, and he said, Shock are kind of out of practice right now, he heard. So he's like, this is the time to beat them. And you know what? They're on the cusp.
I mean, it's looking that way. One person from each team down here. Oh, no! Atlanta Reign, everybody trapped where the health pack used to be. And that was a slaughter. That was just
the Choi Hyobin vision coming in with all the micro missiles was my particular favorite part at that moment. But yeah, you need to play that corner because that's the place you play on defense, so you have some cover. But unfortunately, if you start to lose, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah,
there's nowhere to go.
You definitely don't want to go in there. There's only one health pack. You can't share those. Violet, Popo down already, and Shock looking pretty good here on the attack on Gibraltar. Atlanta Reign really struggling to get anything going.
You really love Sinatra's positioning in that moment because they use time so effectively to get Sinatra into high ground position. So when they contest the payload, they have to come back. We're gonna take a look at Super's shatter right here.
Magic happened. Oh boy. It's 4 people, I think. 3 or 4 shattered there. Easy team.
You can't see anything as Reinhardt, so just swing your hammer moment. Just flashes of color on your screen.
You know it's a little room. You know you're hitting somebody. So who needs, you can like close your eyes and
I know that feel, Super. I know that feel. He's coming down, he's doing a bumper. He's bumpering.
Oh, well, he tried. If you've been bumpering by not hitting anybody with it, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Reign has that transcendence to stay alive as well, but Dogman finally takes that Super. Sound barriers on both sides. Grab from Baby Bay, and Atlanta Reign finally stopped the payload.
I mean, Masa's really outplaying Mop today. Yeah, it's been one of, I think, the big storylines of this match. That, again, sound barrier just a hair late there on the side of the San Francisco Shock, and they find themselves fighting with a player down. Atlanta now. This is the most powerful defensive position you can be in on Gibraltar because you can cover all 4 of these little choke points. It's very, very easy to attack people as they're entering in to push the payload.
If you get stopped on B, it gets really, really hard because the runbacks get longer too. You know, so even if you push the payload a little bit farther, you have an even longer, deadly approach. So Shock needs to win a fight. They need to win it very decisively too.
And it could push forward here with Violet. Baby's not close to a grab, so you have an opportunity just to use Trance aggressively.
Yeah.
Could be waiting for Daco's ult as well before they push in.
Uh-oh.
That's a big limb.
Dying with the Transcendence up is tragic for Shock. They're gonna have to back away again. It's a Zarya battle. Mortal Kombat. Oh, the disengage from Sinatra. He didn't wanna die to Baby Bay right there, but it looks like the rest of his team might have to give it up anywhere. There's a solo grab, but it doesn't catch Sinatra. you know there's gonna be some DMs flying after that one. DMs are coming, Baby Bay. Sinatra's got something to say to you after that one. That's gonna be Shock taking that fight.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he had something in one of his eyes, couldn't judge depth properly right there.
You know, that's the thing. The sun was in his eyes. You know, I mean, he ate something. It wasn't agreeing with him. It was, you know.
He was wearing an eye patch.
It wasn't. It was Rascal's computer. I don't know. That's the cause. It wasn't him. Atlanta Reign gets one last chance to defend here on B. Pokeball a little bit low already. Now Sinatra has the grab. There we go, catching somebody in it, but the sound barrier comes down, and it's going to be Super, who is a little bit off to the side, that ends up getting taken out there. Shock having to back away, and this is really rough if they get pushed back here, because it is such a long run back. Boff down as well. Baby Bay and Popo down though, so Shock with a chance to take this fight right back again. Atlanta Reign maybe over pursuing a little bit there.
And that's been the story, right? Over pursuits for both teams. The Overwatch has been a bit sloppy, not been the most disciplined tonight. There's going to be split spawns here as Popo has to just eliminate himself. Baby Bay takes a dive off the map so that he can reset at the back spawn with the rest of his team.
We're all getting back into it. It's been a bit of a break. That's right. I've been playing some Overwatch, you know. The arcade, the FFA Hero Gauntlet, the best. I love it. Back to competitive Overwatch though. Super with the Earth Shatter. Ready to go. Down to about 3 minutes. So Shock still has a good amount of time in the time bank.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Popo down with via the Earth Shatter. Super chaining that ultimate into some kills. Oh, Baby Bay's crab gets eaten by Chocobin as well. So this is looking really rough for Atlanta Reign. At the end, they had such a good defense on B for a little while. But now it looks like Shock ready and able to finish off point C. They're going to use Both's sound barrier to keep Super alive, and after they eliminate Baby Bay here, that may be about it. Ursa tries to come in with the Wrecking Ball, but there's only so much you can do. Bossa back again here. No chance for any environmental kills, really, and that self-destruct zoning everybody out. That's going to be a pretty good time in the end for Shock, despite the rough moments during point B.
Yeah, healthy time bank for the San Francisco Shock. You know, you talk about B, but A, they just ran through. It was such a quick run through A that they could afford to lose a couple minutes on B, end up with 2 minutes, 17 seconds in the bank. So overall, very nice attack round coming in from San Francisco.
That's solid. Yeah, Rascal, nonplussed about the whole thing. Meanwhile, over on the Reign side, on a map like Gibraltar, a time bank of over 2 minutes is actually pretty large.
Yeah. The kills, I think, say it for themselves. It was 31 eliminations for the Shock, only 9 over the course of that map. So in spite of that, you know, pretty good point B hold, they weren't actually getting eliminations. It was mostly just poking over the payload that was occurring there.
Yeah.
Choi Hyobin has yet to die on this map.
It's pretty good. Pretty good for D.Va. Oh, she gets 2 lives.
I know, it's not really fair. It is cheating.
Yep.
Plus, you have that mobility and a defense matrix to get out if the rest of your team dies.
That is true. You know, if you're going to die, it's going to be like the longest death of any character in the game, though. The enemy team is not going to be kind. Atlanta Reign on the attack now as we see San Francisco Shock setting up with their defense here on Gibraltar. Remember, if they win this map, they will send us to the 5th and final tiebreaker control map. Atlanta Reign, though.
It will be Oasis in this case.
Right. See if Atlanta Reign can win it, though. Right here, right now. Well, not right here, right now. They still have to get 3 points, then we go into time bank. Reign coming in with the 3-3, like usual.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 17 seconds is good, though, but you know, it's no record like we said.
That's true, yeah. That's true. Our team, the Atlantic team, did set the record for Gibraltar in competitive play. Goodbye, Baby Bay. We destroyed our enemies in the talent takedown. Meanwhile, Violet destroying his enemies as well, but Super unable to be kept alive. Shock, though, does manage to stall the payload out for the moment.
They are really focusing Super. It seems like every fight, it's Discord Orb, him getting charged backwards, him getting booped backwards by a D.Va into the enemy team, and it's been hard for him to stay alive, and that's all you need, because even though Atlanta Reign lost that fight, with the fast response, the payload never really stops here.
Yeah, barely got delayed. Now getting stopped a little bit here at the top of the hill. San Francisco, the couple ultimates to use here. Sinatra getting ever closer to that Graviton Surge. Super just swinging, just looking intimidating. That's what he does. Moth, oh, he's down. Dogman found the big pick there. And the Shatter, how did he get Poco? He dropped his shield at just that moment. Luckily, Masa's got the sound barrier to keep Atlanta Rain up. I can't believe they kept Poco alive there. They got the Transcendence in just in time, but now with all those support ultimates out, Shock tries to come back in and capitalize, but they can't.
It's just another late Graviton surge as well, right? Sinatra dropping it, but there's absolutely no chance to follow up. Super going to get split spawn right here. He actually gets Poco. Oh, that is absolutely enormous that he got split spawn and got a kill. You never see that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Baby Bay's shield, like, wasn't up, so there was no protection for Poco getting charged against the wall there.
Yeah, just took the majority of his HP and damage from the charge, and there were some other San Francisco Shock teammates there to follow up on that elimination, but you can't let that happen. Like, Poco has a counter charge there or something.
Luckily, again, because of the respawn locations, they're still pretty close. Super, way cut off from the rest of his team. Fighting for his life, goes down. They give up Masa, though. Baby Bay claims, too. His team dropping members as well as they fight here. It's gonna be the surge used. Choyobin tries to go into the self-destruct. Atlanta Rain still comes out ahead in that fight until the supports decide to get real bloodthirsty. Violet and Rascal bringing it back.
Violet
That's how you do it.
Absolutely saving this map for the San Francisco Shock.
It really is.
The number of eliminations he's gotten on Gibraltar, he has been turning these fights around. Credit to him.
Yeah. Man. Between the picks, the clutch plays, Violet might more or less single-handedly deliver Shock the map. Atlanta Rain, still 3:30 though on the clock. They did go through 8 quickly. Have a lot of time. There's Poco trying to take advantage of some people out of position, but nobody really there from his team to follow up on that Earth Shatter.
Yeah, the problem there is, as we see the cleanup coming in, is that Daco went too deep and used the self-destruct, so they tried to capitalize on the self-destruct by dropping the Shatter while everyone from the Shock was turned, and they caught Sinatra, but they didn't catch anybody else. So that was actually 2 ults used right there that got no value.
Yeah, it's rough for the Rain. That said, though, they still do have 3 minutes left. Support ultimate's up for Shock, though, so it's going to be hard to dislodge them with what Rain has access to at the moment.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Engage with your Transcendence? Like, sure, you could do that. Sinatra just used the Graviton Surge. You know it's down.
Yeah. All right, supercharging forward now. Got the Earth Shatter ready to go.
So Rally coming in for the Shock.
Yep, they've got the armor now to push ahead. Rally for Atlanta Rain as well to match. And Poke getting really low again, has to back away. Shock wastes no time in focusing him when he steps into the front line. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dogman holding onto that ult, same thing with the Shock, but the Shock are winning the ult charge game, the ult economy game, through this poke war that we see. Neither team really willing to engage until those Gravitons are up.
Pretty much. Super now again. We've seen this before, just swinging. He's got that Earth Shatter ready to go. Dogman about half health now. Needs a bit of healing as well. There's a Shatter coming in, tries to get under the payload. Doesn't get anyone with it though. Nobody knocked down.
Did force the trance.
Yep.
That's a big win because now the grab's coming in.
Sinatra needs to avoid Daco's right click, does it, gets the grab in there, but now Daco responds immediately with a kill onto Sinatra. Zarya out of the way. Violet uses a Transcendence even. Popo tries to Earth Shatter, pushes Shock back, and that's going to be Rain nearly getting beat right there. It's going to be the sound barrier for Shock to try to hold the point. Daco self-destruct, gets back in his neck again. Masa gets hacked as Sinatra has swapped over to the Sombra now to try to make something happen in the waning moments of point B. That the big shatter coming in from Super. Choyobin takes advantage of the kill onto Dogman, and now with Popo down too, Rain has to back away.
Shock threw everything in there. It was such a good elimination from Atlanta to pick off Sinatra during that Graviton surge, because if he doesn't die, Shock are coming back with 2 support ultimates in the next fight. But even so, Sinatra makes the smart swap over to the Sombra. Now they have the EMP. Look at Super Shatter right here. He sees Popo. There's no chance to stop that one. Great Shatter under the card.
Yep. Popo off on the side, couldn't get the shield in front of anybody.
Yeah, you can really see Super's thought process right there. He's checking for Popo.
Yeah.
That's what's going. Now he has a chance, though.
Gets 4 with that EMP
of the Sombra.
Oh, you know, coming into this stage, there are rumors that
Yeah, he is.
The Sombra adaptation. I wonder if we're going to see a bit more Sombra at this stage than we.
It probably depends on the teams. Like, certainly that was. Totally agree with switching back to the Zarya right now for the rest of this map. Atlanta Rain looking at only 30 seconds or so.
All right, Super turns. Oh, what a play from Super. Turns, gets the shield up in front of the self-destruct, turns immediately.
But also, he looks more like Bumper. Like, if I didn't know that it was Bumper, but yeah, he's finding some angles sometimes, so high risk, high reward, as it were.
He's going for those highlights, man. What's that play of the game? Baby Bay, the grab, he's gonna need an amazing one because we're down to overtime now for Atlanta Rain. They are out of time. If they get stopped here, we're going to map 5. Rally comes in for both teams. Baby Bay walking forward, still looking for a chance to grab. They're gonna chase down Sinatra. Is it gonna be a solo grab? Are they gonna get it? They will. Oh, Sinatra down. Atlanta Rain, a little bit of trouble for Shock rather, as they lose their Zarya. Sinatra not gonna have that ultimate for a little while, and it looks like that payload is gonna make some more distance possible, but the respawns are real, man. Shock is gonna have people back really fast.
I mean, they're gonna have time for respawns coming in too. They should have 5 up, I think, by the time they have to engage here. Troy Hyovin's gonna go in, pop the self-destruct, get a little bit more time. Is he gonna live? He will not.
Yeah, it doesn't get back in his back either. They're gonna get there. Oh, the block, the body block for Popo at the door, and they finish it. No time in the time bank, but wow, they got it done.
They did get it done, and they'll have a second chance here. Atlanta Rain at a disadvantage, but they want to close out this series.
Going into extra innings when we come back. It is time for the time bank mode here on Gibraltar. Both teams getting a chance to attack with what time they had left. Now, because Atlanta Rain finished in overtime, they get 1 minute. And because they get 1 minute, San Francisco Shock gets an extra one added to their time bank. That's why they're at 3:17. Atlanta Rain, 1 minute. And they're going to be attacking first because of it. We'll see how far they can push the payload.
And Atlanta Rain not going to pull out anything super unusual. They will just use the Sonic Arrow from Dako and switch right back over to the D.Va. So it's going to be Ryan 3-3 versus Ryan 3-3 to the surprise of no one.
No Roadhog shenanigans or anything like that. Remember, Rain playing to win this match right now. They win the map, they win the match. Shock wins the map. We still go to the final tiebreaker control map on Oasis, I believe you said. Let's see what they can do. Choybin over in the corner there.
He just got stuck back there.
That's a problem. That's right, Super down as he tries to save his teammate. They lost Masa here, but there goes Moth. Atlanta Rain making some good progress here.
Choi Hyobin flew back to the health pack, and he got isolated, which prompted Super to go in to try and save him. And even though Violet got a pick, many more eliminations coming in on the Atlanta Rain side, and they will be 6 strong as they come into the end of A.
San Francisco, are they even going to try to defend this? Super thinks about it. Choybin does get onto the point. They do stop it. We're into overtime, of course.
Nice.
And now Rain needs to stay on the payload. If they can prevent them from getting A, that would be huge for the Shock. But the grab comes in for Baby Bay. Choybin's going to get D-Max here. Super really low as well. Can they finish him off? They can. The tank's out of the way. Atlanta Rain with plenty of ultimates. And the best part is they're not even going to need to use them to take A.
No, decisive. Shock's ult economy has been weaker than normal today, and Atlanta Rain taking full advantage. Remember, if they step off the cart for a second, it will just drop to 0. So somebody's always got to be on there. But Atlanta Reign playing better, rationing their ults right now. Shock gonna have a hard time pressing forward while Dogman has that transcendence, and Masa's about to get another sound barrier.
Sinatra about to get a Graviton Surge here, and that might be the difference maker. We'll see if the Shock can draw any support ultimates out of Rain as Rain keeps pushing forward. Remember, they need to keep everybody on the payload, or at least somebody on the payload anyway, so that does make the grabs easier to land sometimes.
Gotta make sure they're walking up right there, though. It's hard to play when the defending position has this corner and the cover that it provides. That's gonna be a big...
If they get Sinatra's big, but the shatters come in from both sides. Now the sound barrier for Shock. Oh, and they push Rain off the point. Rain vacates the payload for just long enough to end the round. That is not how you want to do it. Not when the match is on the line.
No, it's not. But that is still a very good push for a minute.
For 1 minute, yeah, that's a great push for 1 minute. But still, you're gonna feel bad after that one if you're the Rain. There's no consolation for that.
Yeah, there really isn't, especially when you do have a lot of those support ultimates to be sticky on the point. We'll take a look at that one more time. So, take a look. So Popo gets that, gets the shatter in it. They boop everybody off, but I mean that's straight up a mistake. Like, you just have to pop that trance because they went far enough back that the grab pulled them the rest of the way off the point, and they didn't have the matrix to eat the grab. Really, the grab was just good because as soon as the self-destruct from Dako came in, that's when Sinatra threw it to pull them off the cart. So really, honestly, that's a very good play by Sinatra.
I mean, credit to Rascal and Choyobin for being in the front lines too, pushing people back with the Diva and the Brigitte too.
Yeah, but you understand the thought process from the Rain is that Dako calls the self-destruct, which is supposed to make room for them to get back on the payload.
Right.
And there's really only a fraction of a second when Sinatra hears the audio cue from the self-destruct to throw that grab out in a way that is going to hold them off the cart. So that's a fantastic play by Sinatra.
Yep. There's a reason they didn't lose any maps last stage. Also a couple here today, but they can still win the series. They can still send us to the final tiebreaker map if they can push the payload as far as Atlanta Reign has. And like you mentioned, Monty, that was a good push for 1 minute for Atlanta Reign, but Shock has 3, and they're the San Francisco Shock, and they're pushing Atlanta Reign back in that corner again.
They split him up, but Choi Hyobin just sacrificed his mech to kill Dogman, but it's gonna be enough.
I mean, yeah, I'll take that. I mean, Ursher gets a kill on the Super, but the respawns are perfectly fine for Shock, and that's just going to be Rain getting caught in kind of the same trap they were last time, and there's going to be a big stagger on the Dako.
Yeah, there's not going to be really a chance now to defend with all 6 players.
Yep.
If you're the Atlanta Reign, they do send Moth back to give that speed boost taxi to Super to get him back into the engagement.
Yeah, and by causing that stagger too, it makes it tougher to defend at the end of A. They're going to do it anyway, but they're doing it short-handed. If they can finish off Super, it would be big. Super swinging forward, though, and Baby Bait down again. And that means point A is going to be taken. And that means that Shock is going to have 2 minutes to try to push it as far as Rain did. That was a clean team cut fight.
Yeah, and basically right now, if you're the Atlanta Reign, you have to win all of these fights, and you may not do that because
Baby
Bay is split spawned.
That is
He's
awful.
going to get mega staggered. This is such a great shot call here from the San Francisco Shock.
I mean, that was just brilliant by Super, though. They knew the timing for when they killed Baby Bay, and you saw him immediately charge to the spawn door to catch Baby Bay on his way out.
Well, it's also Rascal and Super working together to body block fully on that door so that there's no chance of him getting out. Really nicely done.
For revenge for the Pokebo body block at the end of C on the attack for Rain. Shatter from on high for Super, doesn't land on anybody. They do scatter Rain a little bit. The payload nearly there at the end. 1 minute 18 remaining. There's the grab coming in now from Baby Bay. Finally, it's going to be 2 from Dako. He got 2 with the self-destruct. Maybe a chance here for Rain. Super cannot be kept alive. And suddenly, this is a very different game.
Dako!
We are going to be under a minute.
Dako is such a hero in this match. He had to position that perfectly because the sound barrier was down. It had to be on top of their heads in order to deal enough damage to blow through those barriers.
Right. I mean, the self-destruct does about 1,000 damage at the maximum. Sound barrier gives you 700 shields. So if you can land it just right, you can blow through those shields and the health. It's hard, but it's possible, and Dako showed us the best can do it. Now Rain, they have to win 1 more fight. If they can do that, they can win this series. 30 seconds now for San Francisco Shock.
And neither of the teams, San Francisco really wants to poke. They don't have ults right now. They know Popo is going to be sitting there with the Shatter, and it's a lot easier to use your barrier when you have the corner for cover.
Yeah.
Super's going to be out in the open, which means his barrier is going to drop faster.
And Super does not have Shatter right now, so Poco can kind of play a bit more aggressive, drop it when he wants to. We'll see when that is. Down to the end, down to overtime. Popo's got to stay alive. They got to keep their right heart up.
Grab.
Okay, there's Shatter from Super. Baby Bay. Oh, his grab got eaten. Baby Bay's grab was eaten, and Popo is down. Oh no, it's falling apart for Atlanta Reign, and Shock crushing this last team fight. The sound barrier out, but I don't think there's much Reign can do right now. Daco needs another incredible self-destruct. Doesn't get it though, just knocks Choyabin out of his mech. That is it. Shock will take Gibraltar. It was so close, but Reign just couldn't keep it together at the end, and we are going to map 5.
Oh man, a couple things go differently in those last couple of moments. The trance comes in a bit sooner, that grab doesn't get eaten.
Yep.
But Shock barely pull it out, and they keep themselves alive in this match.
Wow, what a series. Don't go anyway, guys. The final map coming up after this.
Into the iris.
Огонь по готовности!
Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Welcome back, everybody. This is how we want to kick off stage 3. We're going to the 5th and final tiebreaker map between our reigning stage champions, the San Francisco Shock, and Atlanta Reign, who only had 3 wins in stage 2, but 2 of those were against NYXL. And man, with Daco back in the lineup permanently, this team is looking a lot better.
Yeah, and that's definitely part of it. I did sort of slip in there in the last map that I've been talking to Baby Bay on the way into the arena today. And what he told me was, he said, I've heard the Shock are a little bit rusty, and so he thinks that this is going to be their best chance to beat them.
Sure.
And looks like he's right. I mean, they're on the brink right now. They could have closed it out on that last map for sure. You know, one of the weirdest things was it was 78 eliminations for the Shock and only 44 for the Atlanta Reign on that last map.
Yeah.
So you're looking at nearly double eliminations in favor of the Shock, and yet it went down to that final overtime. And honestly, a lot of this is because the Shock have been very undisciplined in their ult usage, and so they're not getting a lot of value out of eliminations. Meanwhile, the value per elimination right now on the side of the Reign, simply because they're playing a better ult economy game, is really there. So, but you would almost never see a statistic like that in a game that close.
Sure. So Gibraltar goes to the San Francisco Shock, and next will be our final map, Oasis. Another control map, and I kind of feel like Shock got away with one a little bit in that last map, because that last fight, there were a couple things that just barely went in their favor. If it had gone the other way, that would have definitely been the end of the series right there. And Reign, you know, they might be kicking themselves a little bit for how that went, but hey, you won control already, so maybe you can come back and do it again, take the series. We'll see.
Absolutely. And it's going to start here on Gardens. Sometimes we see some other compositions on this point. No one going to be taking any risks. Reinhardt 3-3 for both of these teams. And what a statement it would be for the Atlanta Reign to beat the Shock and NYXL twice in 3 of their last 4 games.
I mean, that would be huge. It's almost unprecedented here as we get things rolling on the point on Gardens. Here on Oasis, Dogman a little bit low health, has to back away. See from the UI up at the top. Rascal on board with him now as he puts some health back on the Super. Turns around, has to shield bash away. He saw the aggression coming in from Reign. And Reign will go ahead and take the aggressive point on the point. Should have been low health. Urster down though. And that's going to be Shock just finding the opening. Striking. It looks like they're going to get the control percent going.
Hey, Violent has been so great today. I know we talked about him as the player of the match in the finals, but as a rookie, he's really coming into his own right now and causing a lot of these initial pickoffs in favor of the Shock.
Yep. All right, Atlanta Reign regrouping here. Baby Bay really close to a Graviton Surge, actually, about 30% ahead of Sinatra, which you don't see very often, but Baby Bay has been building those grabs really fast.
Yeah, Atlanta Reign too. They don't have any ults yet, but they're so close to a lot of them. Just a couple of little seconds of poking here will bring so many of their players online. So we should see a pretty even fight here in ult economy with the Shock.
Seems that way. No energy for Baby Bay right now. He's not doing a ton of damage. Yet with that Zarya. Support ult almost up here. Urster has his rally ready to go. They're just trying to poke as much as they can. Trying to be as efficient as possible with these ultimates. There's a rally now, used by Shock. Reign uses theirs as well. Armor on both sides. Oh, Troy eats a grab again. Baby Bay, you know, he's been kind of just lobbing those in there today. And that's, I think, the 3rd one he's had eaten on the day. They're going to try to go for it now on the Shock side. Grab gets used. Urster down, even with that sound barrier from Masa. Reign struggling a bit to get anything done here on the point. And that's going to be Shock defending.
Yeah, holding strong the San Francisco Shock, and critically Doa, because there was no grab coming in on the side of Baby Bay, they're able to hold on to both of their support ultimates, and now they're going to have both up for another cycle when Baby Bay gets the Graviton here. This is great value for the Shock. Finally, it's like turning around their ult economy here in the 5th and final map of this match.
Pretty much, and they need to. It's win or lose right now for the Shock here on Oasis. And Baby Bay's got to find a sneakier way to deliver those Graviton Surges, I think. So right now he's just kind of running up in their faces, hoping for the best. Super, knockdown. And there's the shatter onto Masa and Taco. That's a big problem for the Reign. They're going to try to stay alive. Baby Bay using his grab, but again, no kills out of that one. And that's going to be 100-0 for Shock on the first point.
And let's be clear, we almost never see 100-0 on Gardens as a point.
Oh,
This is a map that once, you know, it goes back and forth very easily. So big statement right there from the Shock, cleaning things up, and it is going to be University for our second point.
Yeah, and I think, again, you know, I think you really have to look at the Graviton Surges coming out from the Atlanta Reign right now. First one gets eaten, second one just completely ineffective. And Reign, you know, maybe they're kind of feeling the pressure. They've come so close now to beating San Francisco Shock on multiple maps and just winning the series, but I mean, got to keep it together for just a little bit longer.
Win or lose, this is a great performance from the Reign, right?
No doubt, yeah.
They're really showing that they can hang with some of the best teams in this league. Now that they've got their full roster back, Baby Bay is more integrated, so credit to them.
Yep. All right, Super just walking right up on the Atlanta Reign right now. Both teams staring each other down. Looks like Shock's going to give a little bit of ground here. as we wait for the point to unlock in about 10 seconds. Oh, Poke. Oh, man. Baby Bay down as well. Yeah, it's the reset coming in from Atlanta Reign. You're going to have to give the point over first again.
Reign allowed themselves to get split into two halves right there. Baby Bay and Poke out in the open, easily collapsed upon by the Shock, who will try and make this a 2-0 map 5 to take their first win of stage 3.
You know, sometimes when Reign has been approaching some of these points, it almost looks like they don't really have a plan because people just start to slowly walk away from each other. It's really bizarre, actually.
Yeah, Poke getting siphoned off. Yeah, it's a big problem right there for sure. Playing further back right now, though. We're really wanting to approach that point, and that's a big elimination.
A nice pick from Dogman to open this one up for Atlanta Reign as they push forward here.
Yeah.
Poke a little bit low, but he did get healed.
Just caught Moth peeking through the doorway, and now you see Reinhardt fall down into the center, so easy attempt to be aggressive here from the Reign.
Yeah, Sinatra with a lot of charge here. He's going to use the grab anyway. Right after they lose Choyabin's mech. Interesting decision. Urster down. There goes Poke. He's super low too. Oh, Super throws in the Earth Shatter. Violet even claims a couple. Dako trying to bring it back onto Sinatra as the total brawl right now on the point. San Francisco Shock, meanwhile, still gaining that control percent. Atlanta Reign on the verge of flipping it, but now the respawn's coming in. Sinatra swaps over to the Sombra, too.
Choi Hyobin getting remeked is absolutely huge. It's going to give them so much more staying power on this point.
Yeah, but Super did get knocked in the pit, so he's walking all the way back right now, and that's going to give an opportunity for the Reign to come in and turn this fight around. Super may as well have been dead because he just wasn't benefiting his team walking back up to where the point was. Atlanta Reign still have not flipped the point, by the way. That's kind of crazy that Shock has been able to delay this long. 82%. They finally lose the fight, but what a great hold.
I mean, I love this swap to the Sombra too, because you're able to get it up to 80%. So you put yourself in one fight territory, and you get 60% of the way to the EMP. Not going to be enough to prevent him from switching it. He does have a lot of time. The 0% to 100. Going to be plenty of time to get another grab. That's going to be interesting, though, because a quick EMP off the rally may have been enough to win the map.
Oh, they're just trying to play it the safest way possible, I think. They're going for the longer game. Poke low. He's going to be taken out. Maybe they don't need to do anything long with this at all. Moth, though, does get caught by the self-destruct. Looked okay for Shock at the beginning here. We'll see, but now Super falling. Sinatra doesn't get the kill into Urster here. Baby Bay all charged up. He's doing a lot of damage on that Zarya right now. Meanwhile, the control percent continues to build for Atlanta Reign. They've lost Dako's mech, but Sinatra, they can't keep him alive on the Shock side.
You're just too late again.
Milliseconds behind where it needed to be to keep the Zarya alive. And now Atlanta Reign pushing forward, but they lose their Lucio. Super nearly goes down, but it doesn't matter because Poke, the Reinhardt who drops instead, and it will be Shock flipping it back.
Wow. In spite of Sinatra falling, that is massive. But ult's coming online for the Atlanta Reign. They are going to have another full strength fight, and they will be able to do it with the grab and the sound barrier.
Yeah.
Violet has to be very careful with his trance.
It's a must win for Atlanta Reign. The match is on the line right now. They're pushing forward. Violet with Transcendence ready to keep his team alive. He's going to go ahead and use it. All right. Tanks, okay. Sinatra, his grab gets eaten by Dako this time. Turning it around on the Atlanta Reign. Rascal caught up in the grab, though, on the other side, stays alive. Super down. Both Reinhardt's out of commission. Baby Bay with a lot of damage here, and now they've got the sound barrier to get even more aggressive with. Choyabin out of the mech, and Atlanta Reign with an opportunity here to keep this one going.
Though the biggest play happened at the beginning. Super got knocked into the pit in the middle, and that forced Violet to use the trance because he had the cover with no barrier for his team. And at that point, you use an ultimate just to cover for a positional error, and Atlanta Reign coming back. Dogman has the trance right now. What are the Shock going to do? Maybe you can get an engage here with self-destruct. Watch Choi Hyobin. He's got to make space for his team.
Yeah. He's got the ultimate. Might see him engage with it here. A lot of ults on the side of Reign, though. See what the plan is. Choyabin biding his time. Yep. Going up on the high ground, just wants to wait it out. Dako a little bit low. He had to retreat for some healing here. Right now, Reign just trying to keep one toe on the point to keep the percentage.
Super's down in the pit again.
Super, they have been so good at knocking down the pit, but Choyabin has been even better at eating Baby Bay's Graviton Surges. That is the fourth one this series now. Moth out of commission as well, so Reign not out of this fight. A big charge takes Super way out of it, and Violet has to use his Transcendence to keep people alive, but he can't keep Super up. Baby bait down though, so Atlanta Reign loses a lot of that defense, and Shock flips the point back again. Reign vacated long enough for that to happen, and now the knockdown. Erster gets put down in the pit, and it's gonna be the sound barrier just to try to keep Reign in the fight at least. They're switching it around, but Rascal with the kill on Erster. Again, it's an absolute problem, but it's not gonna matter.
Oh no,
Shock
the grab!
take the map in the end.
The grab again! That's 2 grabs in this series to help the Shock pull out points. That is some heads-up play by Sinatra.
I mean, Shock, they looked rough, they looked inconsistent today, but they had just enough in the end to keep the win streak alive. Wow, it does not get much closer than that.
It was sloppy, Noah. We saw a couple of sound barriers at the end of these control points, one on Ilios from the Shock, and that one coming in on the side of the Atlanta Reign that you think if you just hold it a little bit longer, if you just wait for them to contest, because they just melted off the point, the San Francisco Shock, until it faded away, and that gave an opening there for the Shock to come back in. But again, credit to Baby Bay. That's 2 grabs to hold people off objectives, and it proved to be really consequential.
Man, what can you say? I mean, they came, Atlanta came as close as anyone has to beating Shock recently, but in the end, it was still San Francisco coming out on top. And now Danny is standing by with Sinatra to talk a little bit about that epic series.
Mountain Dew, thank you very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Sinatra from San Francisco Shock. Congratulations on your win. Very close match, but at the end, you guys got the victory. So I have to ask Sinatra, but today's match was very, it was very challenging for you guys. What made it? What was it about Atlanta Reign that made the match challenging for the San Francisco Shock?
I think that they were just doing things that we weren't used to, like rushing really hard, and we just had to make mid-game adjustments, and I think we did, and it showed in the last map.
Yeah, you did, and you won. Alrighty, so with today's win, you guys are now up 11. You guys have 11 straight win. You guys are on a winning streak for the matches. How long can you guys keep this up? Until when?
I honestly forgot we were on the win streak, but I think we can go perfect stage again. Knock on wood.
Again? Okay, knock on wood. Alrighty, thank you so much, Sinatra. Monty, back to you guys.
I don't know, is that wood? I'm not sure what that's made out of, actually. So
I think it is wood.
It might not have worked. We'll hope for Sinatra's sake it was wood indeed that he has just knocked on. But knocking out Atlanta in the very last map. Let's take a look at that last play one more time. It got a little bit crazy at the end there. We talked about how good Sinatra was with those grabs to just barely keep people off the point.
And you can see them really just running away right now, from this, and the Lucio was able to contest. And so that grab,
oh yeah, look at Doc just
is
barely held off there.
so clutch. And look at that too, the Wrecking Ball zoning off the point as well, making sure the Sombra's not going to get there.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great heads-up play by Sinatra.
By the slimmest of margins, really. Let's take a look at our player of the match for San Francisco. Hard to choose, but eventually came down to the one, the only Violet, our Omen by HP player of the match. This guy single-handedly kept his team in this series on Gibraltar.
Yeah, you can see miming, of course, the orb throwing there from Zenyatta. And that, I agree, like he was either getting first picks or in very close fights when it had broken down to 2 or 3 players on every team, he was just killing everybody. Yeah. You see a 3K right there from him, but really nicely done by Violet. I think without him, Shock probably lose this one.
Yep, that's right. So what an awesome series to start stage 3 with. That was so great. Let's take a look at Violet's stats in that match. That's a lot of healing and damage done. I mean, it was 5 maps,
right?
But man.
And especially whenever you get close to your deaths as a Zenyatta player in terms of final blows, when that's 1 below, you're having a pretty good game on that Zen.
Absolutely. Wow. What an incredible series to start off stage 3 with. Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks to our Disney XD audience for watching. But everybody else, there's a lot more Overwatch coming up. That's right, Florida Mayhem taking on the Seoul Dynasty in our next series here today. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back with more Overwatch League right after this.